Hi, I'm Ted Jordan with Jordan Team Learning, and we're here with two more questions from my book on on passing the Linux Plus exam, available at Barnes and Noble and at Amazon. And let's go ahead and get to the questions here. Now, the first one: which of the following commands can convert a shell variable to an environment variable? A, env, B, export, C, set, D, chmod. All right, so if you want to pause here, feel free, because I'm going to give the answer right now. And so the answer here is B, export. That'll convert a shell variable into an environment variable. And let's go ahead and talk about these here real quickly. Bring up my Debian system, and let's take a look. And what we'll do is we will go ahead and create a shell variable and call that new var. Let's make sure it does not exist. Let's call it new. There's no variable called new. Echo. So we'll create it. New equals I am the new variable. Now we say echo $new. We can see the value of the variable with the $sign in front of the name. And then if we open a subshell, remember environment variables can pass through subshells. And so now if I say echo $new, we can see that it does not exist, which means it's currently a shell variable. It's going to be valid in the shell that it was created in, but it will not be valid inside of a subshell. To make it valid in a subshell, oh, by the way, before I go any further, let's take a look at the set command. The set command will list out your shell variables. The env command will list out your environment variables. So let's run the set command, and we'll grep for new, and there it is showing up there. All right, and then if we run the same for env, will it show up as an environment variable? And it does not. Now let's run the export command and make it an environment variable, and we'll open up a subshell and take a look at the value. And now we can see that the value of the variable has passed to the subshell. Let's go back to the parent shell, and then we run the env command. We'll see that the variable does exist as part of an environment variable. Of course, it'll still be, if we run the set command, we still will see it as a shell variable as well. Now the chmod command is that they discuss here is used to change the permission of a file. And so here, if I want to change a file from read, write, execute to some other values, I would use the chmod command. If I take a look at some of the files I have here, and we'll say my key file, ls-l my key file, and right now it is read, write, read. I can use chmod to make it executable. I can say +x on my key file, and now when we do a listing, we'll see it's executable. To remove that execute bit, I just use the minus sign to remove the execute bit, and now it's back to what we had before. So the answer to this one is B. So that's it for shell and environment variables, and let's move on to question number 30. Which command would an administrator run to generate a sequence of numbers that starts at 1, increments by 1, and stops at 100? And so we've got A, SEQ 1 space 100, B, SEQ 100, C, SEQ 1 space 1 space 100, D, SEQ 1-100. All right, again, you can pause here, and the answer for this one is A, B, and C. D is the only one that would not work. And so if we take a quick look at what the SEQ command does, take it to a man page, and this one will just print a sequence of numbers. I'll show you a little bit about how this is used, but you can do sequence and just the last number. You can do sequence the first and then the last, and then the sequence and then first increment and then last. And so if we just say sequence of 5, that'll give us 1 through 5. So a sequence of 100 will give us 1 to 100. Or if I say sequence of 3 space 5, it'll start at 3 and go to 5. So if we do sequence space 1 space 100, it'll start at 1 and go to 100. All right, and then if we take a look at the last one, that was sequence start, some increment, and then the last value. So if we do sequence start value, increment, last value, then that'll start at the first digit, add the second one, so it's going to add 3, add 3, add 3, and then stop because we hit the upper limit. So SEQ 1, then increment by 1, 100. Of course, that's going to do 1 to 100 again as well. So this is often seen inside of for loops, and we might say for I in some lists will do a command substitution. So say sequence of 3 space 15, and we'll say do echo the value is $I for this I here, okay, for the variable we put in, done. And so there with the for loop, this is the first value, echo the value is 3, and some list is going to add 3, and then it goes to 6, that's the next value. So it stays in this loop until it's done. So it got to 15, it's done, and it drops out of the loop. Now if we put that dash in, and again looking at the man page, you can see dash is not one of the options here. So if we say SEQ 1 dash 100, like in the question, we get an error. So that's it for questions number 29 and 30. And we hope that you get a chance to take a look at our book, of course. But feel free to watch these videos. Please, if you like what we're doing here, we ask that you like and subscribe and tell your friends. The more subscriptions I get, the more I can get more questions here. I'm looking forward to doing more questions also on Security Plus and some of the security exams out there as well. So those should be coming soon. So thanks for your attention, and we'll see you at our next video.